on, everybody? Welcome back to Breaking Night with BL, episode number 22. Coming a long way, man. A lot of stuff going on, a lot more to come. I was going through all my stuff because I am going to be loading a ton of shit up on eBay. I have so much in my collection. I have so many things I made that were obviously very personal to me at one point, and I started making so many things that it's time to start getting rid of a few things. So I'm going to load some stuff up on eBay on my Treat Street Graffiti page. There's going to be a numerous amount of stuff. I got this album I showed last week. Germs did, BL1 Germs, going on eBay. You got it. Going on eBay. What do we got? Oh, this is a treat. This is a dirty magazine. What you know about dirty magazines? Yeah, here's a little BL treat. Going on eBay. All BL bubbles. A lot of treats, man. A lot of treats. I think this may even be up on eBay right now. Look at this. Treat Street 2013. Some of the original lineup right here, man. Pieces made of gold, you know? Look at this. It's got Des on here. Got Topaz did the character. With the Germs, BL. Man. Going on eBay. This is on eBay. I found this put away. This is a treat here. More comic book stuff. The beginning of comic book canvases. Yeah, New York City treat. BL and Pace. Gotta love that. Going on eBay. Treat Street Graffiti. And look at this gem. A Treat Street canvas. Unbelievable. Going on eBay. You gotta spread the love. I got a lot of stuff. And going through my stuff, it reminds me of how much stuff I have. And it's time to give back a little bit, so I'm going to load some stuff up on there. It's going to be all reasonably priced because I'm telling you, a lot of these graph guys that are on here are going to be worth a lot of money. People are passing away. A lot of people are making moves and doing a lot of things. Their art's going to be worth a lot of money. And it's just personal treats for me. I mean, these are all pieces that I made with my friends, and they came to my house, and we kicked it, watched sports, and just lived life. Losing a lot of people. Going through stuff. I came across this drawing in my book. Zim made this for his wife, Kathy. This is a 2-pager with just the top up here. Zim, Kathy. So I found this in my book and I took it out. I thought to myself, you know what? This belongs with Kathy's, Zim's wife. So I'm going through the channels of friends. Zim's wife's been traveling and been busy with a lot of stuff with family. But I definitely wanted to give this to the rightful owner because that's where it belongs. And that's important. Shout out to Zim. Rest in peace, man. DG, Doro, BR. So many people we've lost, man. It's just the list goes on and on and on, and it's like we're losing more by the day. And we gotta support each other, and we gotta push the culture forward because you know what? This graffiti culture that we had is being outnumbered and shadowed by street art. And what do I mean by that is when we were graffiti writers as kids, you had to do a ton of different things to be a graffiti writer. You had to be a thief, you had to be a conniver, you had to be an actor, you had to be ballsy. You had to risk your life to get your name up. I mean, nowadays, you know, people are drawing little figures and doing like little novelty things and, you know, it's cute and all, but to me, graffiti was always no risk, no reward. And I get it. Did y'all see Method Man online talking about how he's never performing at Hot 97 events again because him and Redman were there performing and there was a crowd of people and nobody was feeling him. Nobody was rocking out to Redman Method Man. To any of us hip-hop heads of our age group, we'd be going crazy. But they have all these young kids there. They're waiting for some other little trap rapper or some like new whack rapper to come on, and they're just not showing support to other groups that are on there. So if not, why are you even there? So Method Man was ranting that he's never doing that again because the generation gap has gotten so big between what older age people like us like and these new kids like. Big difference. At least when I was kids, I listened to raw hip hop. I listened to house music. I listened to techno when it started. I listened to all sorts of different stuff. I wasn't just one-sided. But I feel the same way. The street art stuff is starting to outshadow the graffiti stuff, and people are starting to forget who the legends are that started this game, that continue to push this game, that some people lost their life for this game. And a lot of people don't wrap their head around that. And especially a lot of new people. They're being misled into like, oh, this is the cool thing. A Banksy. Look at Banksy, what he did, this little shadow thing. First of all, Banksy is a corporation. It's a bunch of people. It's not one guy stealing paint and doing it raw. No, they got lookouts. There's people in the cars watching, stopping people, letting them do his thing. It's all secret. I mean, you see some of the exhibits that he was doing. There was one on 14th Street all the way down by 10th Avenue. He had this big steel thing on chains hanging from the street. How the fuck is one guy getting that thing up there? Can you explain that to me? You need like a crane and a boom to freaking lift somebody up to put on these two chains with this big, huge, heavy piece. That's not art to me. That's just like, it's fake. Like, you'll just see this Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight with all the rules and regulations. Let me tell you something. I'm disgusted. For many reasons. And this is what it is for me. You got Jake Paul's a younger guy. He's an internet sensation, turned into a fighter. Congratulations. You got Mike Tyson, who's a sick legend. He's knocked out more people than fucking most writers. And here this poor guy is getting a contract to fight 8 rounds, 2-minute rounds. We're watching the videos of Mike in training. His hands are still lightning quick, man. Like, lightning quick. He'll still knock anybody the fuck out, like, without a doubt. But when you see now, I saw on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I see other things online, that how the contract was rigged. That Jake Paul picked all the fucking judges, so it would favor him points-wise. There was a lot of times in there when Mike could have unleashed sick punches on Jake Paul, and he didn't do it. You even saw Mike Tyson biting his glove. He's biting his glove, probably out of anger and disappointment. But what disappoints me the most is it was just set up. And that's what they're doing now. This has become wrestling. It hasn't become who's the best. Is it the young kid? Is it the older guy? Let them fight fair and give them fucking money. Why is this? Tyson only gets this if he makes it to the 8th round and he can't knock out Jake Paul. Because we know in the first round, Mike would have went off on him, fucking knocked him the fuck out. Yeah, Jake Paul could throw a punch. He's not Mike Tyson. I'm going to tell you that right now. I think it's disgusting. And I'm a little disappointed in Mike for even taking that kind of a deal. I know Mike is not starving. I know Mike's making money. He does well. He has a lot of things going on in his life other than boxing. But I'm thinking old Mike would have said, yeah, you want me to sign that contract? All right, no problem. I'll sign the contract. Oh, if I knock him out in the first round, I don't get nothing? Nothing? Okay, cool. Yeah, you sign that contract. Going to the fight, old Mike would have knocked him the fuck out in 12 seconds and said, you know what? Fuck your money. The world sees the truth. The world sees the truth. This isn't theater. This isn't made-up scripted bullshit. This is why UFC is way better than fucking boxing these days. Boxing turned into a dog and pony show. I know damn well Mike Tyson would have fucked Jake Paul up real bad. But it's the hype, man. It's the... Everybody wants to see Mike in the ring. I do. I love Mike, man. I used to watch a lot of his training videos. And a lot of people that know me from the street and I know how to throw hands is because I watch shit like Mike. I pay attention to things. And that's important. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everybody. You got to keep yourself sharp. So this is why I say, tell your kids to put the fucking phones down, stop playing around and being silly. The other week, I was in a store, and I'm getting prints from this print place, because I know I tell you all, I talk about relics a lot, about all this historical stuff that I have, and I'm telling you all right now, me and my buddy Brian, we're going to be working on a silversmith relic historical podcast. I don't know what the name of it is yet. I don't know what we're going to be doing, but we're going to be showing a lot more of these pieces, what we found. Brian's an unbelievable photographer. He takes unbelievable pictures. He's very experienced in this kind of stuff, so he knows what he's looking for, and he knows how to get it. So I'm in the store. I go in to buy these prints, because I've been buying prints because it's easy for us to look at the prints to kind of see what's what on these things, rather than on your phone scrolling and zooming in. I get these prints, so I walk in, and there's this girl. She looks like she's like 18, 19 years old, working behind the counter. As I come walking up, here she is on her phone. I come up, oh, hi, puts it down. Hey, how can I help you? I'm like, yeah, I'm here to pick up my pictures. This is my name. She comes over with the stack, and she's like, oh, okay, that's going to be $38.15, whatever she said. I was like, okay, great. I gave her $100. Now I'm watching her, because I don't need to count the money in front of me. I watch the person getting my change. Normally, registers tell you, oh, it's this much. This is how much change you get. It makes it easier for the person. But not people that don't pay attention and understand math. So I watched this girl, and she gave me the totally wrong change. She gave me way too much money. Now, old me, honest Abe, would have been like, ma'am, sorry, you overpaid me. You know, you gave me too much money. Count that again. You're supposed to give me $60 and whatever in change. You gave me $90 because you confused yourself with 5s and 10s, and she counted it twice. And I just, thank you. Oh, great. Have a nice day. Put it in my pocket and left. If you're going to be that fucking stupid to make a mistake like that because you're not paying attention to your job and you're too busy fucking around with your phone, I'm getting over on you on $30. Thanks. Super treat. But pictures here. So here's a picture I had printed of my friend Brian took this picture. If you look at this from far away, can you see anything? Because we do the 10-foot, 12-foot rule. When you look at it from far away, there's a whole face on here, if you can look and see. It's a portrait on this 1789 metal, which we found out is made by a famous silversmith. And we're going to talk about a lot more of that, because there's a major market in American folk art and pieces that were made by silversmiths in the 1700s, 1800s, and it's a case that has not been cracked. And we're on a mission to just find these things that are hidden on here. I have way more pictures in here. Of proof that we got of things. And I'm going to announce when I'm doing that podcast with Brian, because the people need to know this is real history. We're talking about graffiti here. These are people who were famous silversmiths and masons and were challenging each other making things. And that's what revolutionized and the evolution of art, graffiti. These guys were using not just etching and grading, these guys were using staining. They had whatever chemicals whatever it was they made or invented, they were putting on there to make some areas dark and some areas light. And that's when you start to really see these things. And there's more on here. There's lettering in the background. If you look really close, there's letters here, huge letters. Obvious, as plain as day. But we're going to talk more about that silversmith art. When you talk about your favorite graffiti writer, these guys were doing things that was just mind-blowing with the smallest tools. What kind of lighting were they using? I don't know. It amazes me all the time. But talking about going through stuff, I want to shout out Ice. I know I talked about Ice in a past episode. And I've been working on a ton of things, man. I know I showed you all before. You've seen these Iron Man's comic book sneakers that I made. Still working on them. Got a couple of coats to paint on them. Got to dye the laces. A couple of doodads. And then I got these pieces, of course, that I showed you that me and Ice made a while ago. And we're going to start reaching out to people on, you can get your kid's face done something like this. Maybe your son or your daughter or your husband or your brother or somebody you know loves Batman. He loves, a character or something. Maybe your kids love, Hello Kitty or comic book stuff. I'm going to be working on a lot of different things. I've been working on comic book furniture. Here's a picture of a little end table that I made with a Superman, Batman theme. Just showing the process. So what I want to do is I want to start, in Connecticut here, I got a lot of people that want stuff like that. So I'm going to start making things. I'm going to ship it to Ice, or I'm going to bring some things to Ice, and I want him to do his, unbelievable cartoon characters, splitting the face of this little boy with, a Wolverine mask, or maybe a girl with, Catwoman, whatever the case may be. Get him to draw his little doodads. Maybe you can even start making some more sneakers. That's important. And just keep pushing the envelope. That's really what it's going to be. So you got to stay ahead of the game when it comes to that. It's funny, shout out to Amuse. I was talking with him about baseball cards and collectibles and things, because at my age right now, all I really fucking care about is my daughter. My daughter Sadie. She's 2 years old. 2 years just went by like that. I tell everybody, at my age at 54, I'm new to the dad game. This is my only child. It's my first child. So my mentality is very different when it comes to things, where I go and what prioritizes over my family life. Because to me, my daughter's everything. She's so much of me, my personality and how I am, that it's like hanging out with your best friend and just teaching her things, putting her onto the game. So never in my life did I ever think that I'm looking into a life insurance policy for my daughter. I'm sure a lot of you all have it. A lot of my followers have careers and, families, and they know, of course I got a policy for my daughter or for my wife and, my kids or whatever. You got to leave a will. You need to have who's getting what. If something just happens to you out of the blue, what's going to happen to your stuff? They're going to just throw it in the dumpster? You got to be on top of it. And also talking with some of my friends, I know a lot of people that have money and they're investors and they know a lot of shit, man. And that to me is important. So I go to these people and I ask them things. And I got a buddy that works at Chase, and I'm going to set up a Roth IRA account. Well, I'm going to put money into it every week. I know I got to put at least between $3,000-$4,000 a year into it. And that over time is going to compound and roll into, who knows, 5, 10, 20 years of investing. Something that I can leave my daughter. Something that I can leave my girlfriend. I'm not going out like that, man. I've seen so many things happen to so many of my friends, and so many people have passed. Didn't have a chance to solidify their life. Didn't have a chance to, give an explanation or nothing. They just were taken away like that. And their stuff is either thrown away or given away. And it's important that you have yourself set up. I know a lot of people that passed, man, and their kids are suffering because they weren't set up. And to me in my life right now, that's super important to me. Making sure that Sadie is okay if something happens to me. Because there's no disrespect to my family, but my father didn't give a fuck about me. He was in Florida banging chicks and drinking his ass off and didn't give a fuck about little Johnny. Didn't care. And that's fucked up. A lot of your deadbeat dads don't even really think about the damage you're doing to these kids. Because I think about this now, why I'm an amazing dad. My father was never there for me. I'm going to be there every fucking day for my daughter. I'm going to make sure this child has everything she needs and wants. But she's not going to be spoiled. She's going to understand. We're not fucking Rockefellers. We're not rich. But we know how to live. We're smart with our money and how we spend. And I'm personally changing a lot of things that I've done. Me, I spent a lot of time and money in my life investing in myself. And that is what's important. When I was in the music industry, I invested in computers, I invested in programs and keyboards and machines to help make music. When I was doing acting, I bought a whole bunch of props and different things to help me grow further. When I want to do a podcast, you got to go out, you got to buy a camera, you got to buy lights, you got to have a table and a setup, you got to have a place to do it, you got to have your shit together. And I spent a lot of money doing stuff like that because it was important to me and stuff I love to do. And I'm going to continue to do. That's just me. But I'm starting to look in a different direction. What am I doing with my money? So I'm investing stuff. So this is why I've been talking to Amuse and we're talking about baseball cards and stuff. And I've been going on eBay. I find a lot of treats on eBay, a lot of treats on Marketplace, a lot of stuff to buy. I got some sealed packs of cards here. And I got this one specific pack that I opened. This is a 1988 baseball set. It's got a list of everybody who's on the back. This was brand new in the plastic. I just opened this. But this just brings me back to, I remember when we were kids in school, we used to do this thing, it's called flipping cards. Does anybody know what that is? Flipping cards, do you know? Flipping cards was, old kids in school, we used to go and take all of our baseball cards that we get, we buy packs, whatever we would do, we bring them to school, we have them in our book bag. And we go in the lunchroom and we sit across each other and we do what's called flipping cards, where you do it upside down so you can't see the fronts of them. And you challenge each other. You either pick a team or you pick a color. Like if it's, the Mets, orange, there's Orioles, there's other teams, whatever. Or if you pick a player or if you pick a team, the teams match. So I would go and then he would go. And then I would go and he would go. And until you matched it, and then you kept the pile. Sometimes we would do 4 or 5 of a kind. So it'd have to hit the Mets or the Yankees or the Cardinals, whatever, 5 times. So you just keep flipping. The pile gets higher and higher and higher. And it's days like this now that I think to myself, like, wow, how many sick baseball cards that I have that I just flipped and I lost and some kid took them, mom probably threw them in the garbage. I mean, some of the cards are worth money. Rookies, certain players. And here, looking at this, look at some of these players here. Here's a Yankees Don Mattingly card, a 1988 Flair card. Darryl Strawberry. Super treat. Doc Gooden. These are in mint condition. They just came out of the box. I'm not playing with these things. I'm not flipping these or putting them in my book bag and destroying the corners. Hey, look at this. Roger Clemens. Jose Canseco! Jose Canseco! Barry Bonds, man. Wade Boggs? Mike Schmidt? Y'all remember Mike Schmidt? Cal Ripken Jr. Wow. Cal Ripken Jr. And Mark McGwire. And a bunch of other cards. But I think about this now and I think about, how many Reggie Jackson cards I had that I was just flipping and they were gone. How many Pete Rose cards did I have? How many Cal Ripken cards did I have? And Mets players and Yankee players. How many probably older cards did I have that I freaking didn't even really pay attention to? And some of this stuff to collectors is worth a fortune. When I bought this thing here, this is a pack of freaking sealed cards. 2 packs. And you never know what's in here. 1989. So I've been doing a lot of that lately, and just still investing in crypto, we pretty much have our country back. So, things are going to start rising. If you'll see, you're watching Bitcoin's up to it was like $93,000 the other day. And everybody's saying, it's going to crash. It's going to crash. It ain't going to crash. Fuck out of here. Crypto is the future. But don't get fooled by all of it. Some of it has value and things to do. And some is just a bullshit meme to get you to invest and jump on the hype. Tyson, Jake Paul. Don't believe the hype. Do want to show another treat? Hey, you know what that is. Speaking of going through stuff and putting on eBay, a couple of months ago, I had 2 pairs of these. These are the limited edition Run DMC Jam Master J sneakers. And I sold a pair on eBay. Here's the band that I got. When I was a doorman in the city, I used to go around the block on the Wooster Street where they had the Adidas Original store. And I was in there so much, I knew the workers. So when I knew these things were coming out, there was limited edition, I was like, buddy, you got to get me a band so I can take a break and I can go get them. Because without this, you couldn't get in the store to get these. And as hard enough to get one, I got 2 pairs. So this is my second pair. Run DMC Jam Master J's, brand new. The box is a little beat up, but everything's still in here. Never wore, look, I never even opened the laces, never put my foot in it, never put it on or walked around in it. It's got the original tags on it. I don't think the receipt is in here. I think that was in the other pair that I sold. It's got some literature. Actually, my mistake. Here is the receipt. All faded. Original receipt, right here. And here's the literature. Come meet DMC at the Adidas store. And he was there to sign, comic books or sneakers or whatever. But I was working and I was there just to get some gems. And I got these. I don't know if I'm going to keep them and put them on eBay. I have no idea. It's still a work in process. And that's what's more important. Treating yourself to things that are just, I may just wear this to an event one day and say, I don't give a fuck. Or I may put it on eBay and let somebody else have it. Parts of history, treated myself. I seen somebody selling some things on eBay and I said, you know what, I have some of these, but what's wrong with getting more? I found somebody that was selling designer markers. Alcohol markers from when we were kids. Look at these things. Got the blues, really super dark blue, baby blue. I like these in general. You know why? Because I put them on canvases as I'm working on things that I'm doing. I like props and I like building, I like putting things on canvas. That's what's fun to me. Not just doing something stupid on a canvas and that's it. I like concepts. I like pushing myself and doing more. And I'm going to do more. I've been working on this TMR episode. I know a lot of people are asking, where's the TMR episode? Where's the TMR episode? Trust me, it doesn't just happen overnight. I've been taking a lot of notes, writing a lot of stuff. I have a lot of footage. I have the news articles from when they talked about when TMR was the toughest gang in New York at the time. We were in the papers all the time. Because we were a dangerous crew. And I'm going to get into it because very quickly, I was not there day one. I wasn't from Bayside. I was from Ridgewood. And fortunate enough to meet Kite and a few other people. We'll talk about all those steps. And Kite brought me into Bayside and seeing the loyalty that these guys had to each other and how much fun they were. And there wasn't no bullshit like there was in my neighborhood where your own friends are like backstabbing you and scheming you. These were different kind of animals. They all fought for each other. They all stood together. I love that. So I'm going to talk about my experiences and me coming in there and bringing Doro into Bayside and him meeting everybody. And then his passing, I brought BR into Bayside and revolutionized the game.
Happy New Year! Is it on? Yep. TMR Posse 1992. WDD Posse 1993. Happy New Year! Happy New Year, buddy! Happy New Year! Happy New Year! I am fucking mountain climbing on coke tonight. Come on, bro! Here's your cat.
It's been a White Castle New Year.
Bobby was a certain animal that people loved him in Bayside. He was 100 and something pounds soaking wet, but balls of steel. He'd fight 100 guys. I got a lot of footage of that, of BR going crazy on Bell Boulevard, and you could see why people were afraid of him. I got a lot of footage of me and some of the other guys in there. Some I could show, some of them will blur out some faces. But I've been just going through the details of who really gets the props of the evolution of this crew. And a lot of other people that were just hanging out, chilling on the corners, but never really wrote graffiti, didn't come and fight, They didn't come to the city, to the clubs, and all the things that we were doing, which is great. Everybody does their own thing. But I'm going to get a lot into the antics of TMR and how we became an iconic crew. I'm also working on a Ridgewood History series, just of Ridgewood History. And could be one episode, could be a few. Because a lot of people don't know that the movie Dreams Don't Die with King 65 was a graffiti movie from a long time ago. It was shot in Ridgewood and some of it in Bushwick, but most of it was Ridgewood. I have a lot of footage of me on the block of where I grew up. My friend Danny Barron, his room was actually King 65's room that they had people come and do graffiti in. We'll talk about that. I'm going to show you all the scenes. I'm going to show you Beach Street. Some of the most iconic scenes were shot in Ridgewood at Fresh Pond Road when the Paradise Island car pulled up. We're going to talk about that. There's a lot to it. When he was standing on the roof looking down into the M yard, like, oh, Ramo, you always know you wanted the white one. That was Madison and Ridgewood. That's the M yard. That wasn't the Bronx. So I'm going to show a lot more of this because it's important that people get it and understand that just because you're watching things on TV, a lot of it's imaginary. A lot of it, you don't know where it was filmed and what it was. A lot of people just assumed from the culture that it was shot in the Bronx. Everything's in the Bronx, the Bronx, the Bronx. No, this was in Queens, Ridgewood, Queens. And I'm proud to grow up in Ridgewood. A lot of history, man. And I'm going to get into a lot more of that. Trust me when I tell you. So, shout out to you. Shout out to my boy, Swiss Precise. Destroy everything. Shout out to Pens, of course. The Breaking Night logo. Shout you out for tuning in. Shout out Bo. Bond. A.K.A. Bo. I was working on this baseball the other week, and, lack of just, you knowing who you're talking to a ton of people, and I really had no idea. He sent me a whole bunch of stuff. I took the baseballs out, and I didn't even get into it, but it turns out that it's Bo from Drug Crew. Bond, he wrote. And Bo, look at this. Sent me a bunch of treats I didn't even know I had. Look at this. Drug Crew. So, shout out to Bo. Guy did his thing, man. A lot of people, man, don't get the props and respect that they deserve, man. And it's important that we talk about these people. It's important that people know who started what and who's still carrying the torch. I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of footage to show. Talking about footage, yeah, I got a whole box full of DATs. These are all DATs that I had. These are all DATs. This is my video from the Hip Hop Manual I did with Craig G. His footage from the KRS studio session I was in when he was doing the Stop the Violence Movement Part 2. This whole box is full of DATs. And I started to label some of them, and I still have a ton to go through. And, this is what it's called investing in yourself. This whole box is full of DATs. Look at this. All DATs. Okay? To the point where I had all of these. I had them put away. Some of them were written on. Some of them I don't even know. I was just using them and then throwing them on the side. So what did I do? I went on eBay and I bought myself a nice camera. A DAT camera. I think I paid like $60 for this. Somebody was just getting rid of it. So now I can at least plug this in and watch the tapes and know what's on it. And now I write on it. So as I'm extracting this stuff, and I can show you guys a lot more of graph history. There's 5 points footage on there. There's me at graffiti events and hip hop events. There's me just out and about, going crazy and doing things. A lot to show, a lot to talk about. Thanks for tuning in. Episode number 22 of Breaking Night with BL. Peace, y'all.